Welcome back to NBA Cinema. So today we have to talk about Carmelo Anthony and George Karl and everything that's going on with them. Now, I was trying to stay away from this topic, but it continues to persist. Kmart threw some gasoline on it today, and we know Kmart and his well-documented stories on Gil's Arena and other podcasts where he said he went up to George Karl and he was about to throw hands with him. It had gotten that bad in the locker room. But George Karl has recently come out and said that he feels like Melo was overrated. Now, he's wrote it in his book. He says so much about Melo over the years. Now, Melo has a podcast, and he's telling his side of the story. He wants Melo. Now he's saying, let's bury the hatchet. It's been 20 years. No, because you've been putting your narrative out there, so Melo is entitled to tell his side of the story. And other people have been saying it. Now, Kmart had a lot to say on Gilbert Arenas' podcast, man. So we're going to listen to that. But first, we got to listen to what Melo said. And right now while I'm talking, if you don't know what I'm showing as I'm talking right now, these are the things that George Karl has been saying over the last few weeks. But let's listen to what he had to say. Let's peep it.
Oh, we was going to have issues. The first day he got the job. He got the job a couple days before we played Milwaukee Bucks. So the whole thing was, I'm not coaching no game. My first game, I wanted to be against Milwaukee Bucks. Cool, go back home. They fucked you over there. I know the business. I know the game at the, and I really don't know the game when he came to the team. I'm 21 now. All I know, I got a big name coach coming. George Karl, coach Milwaukee, coach Seattle, Gary Payton, you know what I mean? All of that. We get to Milwaukee after shoot around, call me to his room and tell me, hey man, I think you overrated. You have a lot of work.
Yo, that's crazy. First sentence?
Listen.
Nah.
That nigga's embarrassed to be next to me.
Look at this. Look at this. Nigga don't even want to look at you, B. No. Yo. Nah, yo. Nah. Hey, George Karl, watch your fucking mouth, man. Hey, PK.
No, he started that narrative, though, like the defensive narrative. But I'm going to get to that point. The first shoot around, he come to me and say, look, man, I think you overrated. We have a lot of work to do. I know I ain't. You know what I mean? I know I got a lot of work. I got a long way to go in this league. But my nigga,
you just got here.
You just got here. You ain't asking no questions of who's who, what's going on, what's the vibe, individual meetings with every player to introduce yourself. You ain't do none of that yet. You called me. Told me I was overrated. Looked at him. All right. So yeah, you remind me of, I see your role on this team. You're more like Detlef Schrempf.
Nah, get the fuck out.
No, this is word is born. This is a fact.
Nigga, set them down, bro. Nah. Not the fuck down.
How can a guy that was in the third pick in the draft that should have won Rookie of the Year, that led his team to the playoffs as a rookie, you come in his second year, how is that guy overrated when you get there?
Yeah, that's
no, these are facts, bro.
That's what
I was. This is real time, dog. I was there, so you ain't got to look that shit up, Gil. I was there.
Okay.
Right?
Just looking like
no, I was there, right? Melo's in his second year when George got the job. 20 games in when George got the job. Led his team to the playoffs the year before as a rookie. And most of the basketball world thinks that LeBron James got Carmelo Anthony Rookie of the Year trophy at home. Just from optics. Team won. Western Conference was a lot harder. You okay, brother?
No, this shit just went down the road.
Right? So, Bron had a hell of a rookie year, but Melo led his team to the playoffs as a rookie. So, in the Western Conference, which was a lot harder at the time.
So,
how is this guy overrated?
Yeah.
And how you comparing guys? So coming in, right? And this is, he did it there, he did it to Boogie, he did you got your mind made up about guys before you step in the building. You already got this shit, Okay, you got the job, so now, this is what I think. So no, you already got your mind made up. These preconceived notions about who you think a person is and how you're gonna deal with them and how their game is, how to fit you. Like, no, it ain't fucking about you, dude. It's not. It's not about George. Shit is about the players, man. Like, you benefited from us, from our talent. Since, like I said it then, like when the shit first came out, if you think he overrated and we such bad people and bad basketball players and this, that, and the third, forfeit them fucking wins. Forfeit them. Because we such bad people. Who led who? How we get to the playoffs every year? Wasn't because of you, dude. We made the playoffs it wasn't because of you. We talent got us there. Nigga, we got there in despite of you. Like, you were handicapped to us. If we had a different coach, we win a championship. You were handicapping us as a fucking team because you think you more important than us. Nah, dude. And for you to be still going, whoever's writing it. And I don't want to keep going it because I could take this to a whole different place. But it'll be ugly of me, right? But dude need to chill. Whoever's writing, whether it's him, his son, who publicist, whoever the fuck it is, somebody tweet, because it ain't him, because I don't think he...
George Karl, 72 years old, just don't know how familiar he is with emoji games, I'm saying.
And he's ill, and he's sick. So I don't want to, but he got ailments right now, so let's not, I don't think he's constantly sitting there and tweeting and doing these things unless he got...
You don't think he's telling somebody? Because
it could be, that's what I'm saying, but whatever it is, you telling Melo don't do it, dude, you started this shit. He's in the space now to tell his side of the story. He's not telling anything that the public wasn't thinking at the time. He's just putting clarification to it. And because you such an asshole and a no good ass person, you taking it personal when the man telling the truth. Right? The truth sound like hate. The truth sound like you're going at people when the shit hit home. Like, nah, these are facts.
Okay, so much to unpack right there from Kmart, being inside the locker room and saying how big of an impact Melo had on the team. And make no mistake about it, Denver was a good basketball team. I want to say at the time, and I don't go to Google, I go to my memory for this, so bear with me on some of this. If I'm not mistaken, the point guard was Andre Miller, before Chauncey Billups came. You had Kmart, Chris Anderson, Nene Hilario. They had a lot of players. Lennis Glazer, I believe, was on that team. If he was there, or maybe he got there the next year. But I say all that to say they had like a loaded team. I remember they had Earl Boykins. They had a lot of good players on that team. And it was loaded, right? You, from the first man to the ninth man, you had a lot of depth on that team. Melo was the factor that pushed them into playoff contention, and where you started feeling like, okay, if this team can get it right, they may have the potential down the road to win a championship. And that was because of the star, the person that you give the ball to down the stretch. They had that guy now. And, Andre Miller took some of the shots too and was able to create down the stretch. So you have multiple options, but Melo being that 6'8" physical wing player that I remember Melo's face-up jump shot was like a layup. Or, when you played him too close, he could put it on the floor and hit you with that quick spin back to the middle, put you in the blender real fast. And that crossover, real quick baseline, Melo had like a lot of moves that were like straight to the point at that time. But I say all that to say Melo is what pushed them, to that next level. Now, obviously they brought in Billups late. I believe Billups was on the team where they actually faced Kobe and really challenged the Lakers, to try to win that series. George Karl has a way of talking to players that, this isn't the first time that players have talked about him. A lot of players have some interesting things to say about him. And he feels like he wants to move on at this point, which that's not fair to Carmelo Anthony because he was probably not wanting his coach to berate him publicly all the time. It was almost like he was kind of doing the Larry Brown thing that Larry did with Iverson with Melo. You don't talk about your players' bad habits in public, especially when Melo wasn't throwing him under the bus. That's not anything you say. You don't say he's overrated coming to the team. Because I wonder, did you talk to Gary Payton or Sean Kemp that way back in the day? Now you could argue that maybe he was using it as a motivating factor, and yes, there's been people to say things like Melo cared more about scoring, and he'd be happier when he had a lot of points when they won, and he'd be sad. No. I had that backwards. He would be sad if he didn't score that well and they won. But if he had a lot of points and they lost, he would be in there, picking guys up. That was Chauncey Billups' words, verbatim. And so there was probably some leadership concerns, but a lot of people, they thought Melo won that Rookie of the Year with LeBron James. Now, honestly, for your league and for the business, you give LeBron James the Rookie of the Year. That's just what that is. You give, if it's close and you're looking at the trajectory of those two players, and LeBron is going to be the face of the league, historically, it's better for the business of basketball to look back and say LeBron won Rookie of the Year. And that's where you got to realize it's a business, right? Melo wasn't so far and away better than LeBron that they couldn't give it to him, and that's kind of what would have had to happen. So sometimes, even when you deserve something, they go with the business decision, and that's what you saw there. Historically, you look back, you'll be able to say, Jordan won Rookie of the Year, LeBron. You could say them type of people did that, and that's an accomplishment to their name. So I get that, man. But Kmart, Melo, they don't love. They don't have no love for George Karl, and George Karl hasn't made it easy for those guys. Once you put people in a book, it's going to be tough because that lives forever. That's not like a statement you can make and apologize. New people will read these books every day and formulate their opinions based off of what you're feeding about people. So I think, this is going to go on forever, man. And I just find it weird, with George Karl and the condition he's in, to find time to go at Melo. Because when Melo retired, he sent him some type of congratulatory, or he sent some kind of congratulations gesture towards Melo on social media, and Melo retweeted it or something. But, so I just don't get it, man. I really don't. But I want to know what you guys think about this in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.